Hello guys, hope you're doing well, and I have a question for you. You ever notice how people treat being alone like it's a form of disease? Like if you're not constantly texting someone, talking to someone, dating someone, attending social events, surrounded with a lot of people, something must be wrong with you. But what if I tell you they got it completely backward? What if I tell you that being alone is actually one of the most powerful advantages you can ever have? And yeah, before you say it, I know there are numerous studies that say loneliness increases the risk of bad things like depression, a cognitive decline, and even Alzheimer's disease. We all know that. We hear it all the time. But here's what they don't tell you. Those studies mostly about involuntary loneliness. People who feel rejected, people who crave connection and can't get it, people who are isolated against their will, like for example, prisoners in solitary confinement. That's completely different from chosen solitude. Those two are two different states, by the way, not the same thing. One of them is deprivation, a bad thing, but the other one is autonomy. It's a good thing. And of course, autonomy is one of the strongest predictors of well being. Self determination theory, which basically, in simple words, it means like people thrive. Humans, by nature, thrive when they are in control of their life. So the bottom line here is simply if you are alone and miserable, that's a problem. You should seek help. But what if you are alone and at peace? That's power. Think about someone like Nikola Tesla. I visited his museum, by the way, in Serbia when I was in Serbia. It's amazing. I highly recommend it. Nikola Tesla, a lifelong bachelor, and the guy literally changed the world. Ask yourself why. Because deep thinking requires uninterrupted time and mental space. You cannot be focusing on solving big problems, complex problems, while someone is constantly yelling at you. Why didn't you notice the squirrel I fed in the morning at the park? And by the way, I'm not saying women are amazing. They are wonderful. We all love women, right? But relationships require attention, constant attention. And attention is finite. Every hour you take out of your busy schedule, managing crazy emotions, conversations, expectations, is an hour you're not building something. So, yeah, you can find an understanding person, understanding woman, but let's be honest, that level of understanding, maturity, space, independence is extremely rare. And here's the part where I gotta give you a little bit of a caveat or a warning. Solitude can get so comfortable, extremely comfortable. You get so much used to feeling great, and that's dangerous. Why is it dangerous? Because meaningful life is not only about being comfortable, it's about responsibility, conflicts, and sometimes you'll be surprised, sometimes suffering. Suffering adds meaning to life. Like, for example, building a family. Even though nobody's going to appreciate it as a man in this day and age, it still brings meaning to life. It brings, they say it brings structure. So, yeah, you can live all your life comfortably, peacefully, forever, but you might be missing out on that level of depth. And now let's talk about something practical money. When I first started tracking my finances, I learned that from my father, by the way. I noticed a pattern. Every time I was single, I saved more money. My portfolio, stock market portfolio went up, it grew faster. I invested more. But every time I was in a relationship, expenses went up, decisions got more complicated. And of course, if you're in a relationship watching me, I know you're gonna relate to what I'm saying. I was forced to buy unnecessary things that I didn't even need. I used to eat a lot outside. So you might think that doesn't matter, but it actually matters because as a man, financial pressure changes your behavior. You start accepting jobs you don't even want, you don't even like. You start saying yes to things that slowly kills your soul. But when you're alone, you have that leverage, beautiful leverage. You can walk away. You have this amazing, priceless freedom. And you know what? Here's something I've always questioned. Why create needs that didn't exist before? Think about it. Family, relationships, child. They did not exist. You created them from scratch. They were not there. They were not anywhere. You just took a decision to make them from scratch. And then they became emotional dependencies. It's as if you are introducing new needs into your life, as if the existing needs that we have as humans are not enough. Like before love, you were fine. After love, now you need it. And I'm not saying necessarily it's a bad thing, of course, obviously, to each their own. Even me, I might change my mind later. I'm like, don't take my words as if I'm thinking out loud with you. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not necessarily saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that it's something that people don't think about. Another thing that people underestimate is autonomy. Like when you're alone, you don't have to explain your decisions to anybody. You don't have to negotiate your time. You don't have to justify the way you live. And that level of independence is amazing. And I'm not anti-marriage. If you want to get married, go for it. I'll be happy for you. But if you want to reduce your chances of failure, here's a thought. You don't have to take my thought. It's just, at least that's what I'm going to do if I ever get married. Stay together, but don't live together. Or if you want to live together and you have to, because maybe she doesn't want, she wants to live with you, at least create a real space. Or at least live together 2 days a week, whatever. The reason I'm saying this is because from my experience, I noticed that people who start cohabitating, attraction drops significantly. Because there's a factor, there's familiarity. Familiarity kills attraction, kills the tension, kills the mystery. And mystery is a precursor of attraction. You know, I had a friend, he was 60 years old. His name is Steven. Spent his entire life jumping from one relationship to another. One failed marriage after another. And you know, I kept telling him, take a break for God's sake. Like, be alone. Figure yourself out first. But he couldn't do it. He couldn't even sit on the toilet without his phone. As if silence made him so uncomfortable. And one day he told me something that stuck with me. Emad, you know what? I think you're right. I think I've been running for myself my whole life. Most people really aren't afraid to be alone. They're just afraid of meeting themselves. So here's my final thought. If you can sit alone without distraction, without needing validation, without running away from your own mind, then you have already won. Because solitude isn't emptiness, it's clarity. And trust me, most people would do anything just to avoid that.